Right. So today we are going to discuss the Karakatwas of Jupiter. Jupiter is Jiva Karaka. Jupiter is the native. So Jupiter is the native here. Native means here Jatak. Sun is Atma Karaka. Moon is Mano Karaka. Mars is Deha Karaka. And Mercury is Buddhi Karaka. Now we are going to discuss the Karakatwas of Jupiter. And Jupiter is called planet for male life force. Here Jiva Karaka means life force. Jupiter is here Jiva Karaka for male, life indicator. Jupiter denotes, generally it has some Karakatwas like development, growth, vikas, and respect, sammanata, and divinity, divyatva, and prestige, and respect, and self-esteem, patience, pious, and bestower of shastras, preacher of religion, and teacher, preceptor. So here, Jupiter is actually Deva Guru. So that's why Brahaspati, Deva Guru, Brahaspati. So that's why Jupiter denotes teaching field, teacher, preceptor, and preacher of religion also. So here Jupiter is here Ajyatmika Vyakti. So Jupiter is Jivakaraka for male and development, growth, respect, divinity, prestige, respect. So when it comes to our relations, so Jupiter is a teacher. Jivakaraka, at the same time Jupiter is a teacher. So Sikshak, we can say Guru and mentor, guide. So like this, Jupiter is considered to be teacher, Guru, mentor, and guide when it comes to our relations. Generally, Jupiter denotes certain professions like a preacher, so mentor, guide, teacher, presenter, trainer, education department, education minister, and judge, religious activities, spiritual person, priest, manager, ministers, lawyer, judge, banker, temple worker, judge, priest, lawyer, education minister, bank manager, teacher, finance department, and a temple worker, yogasana teacher, and a religious teacher, so LIC department. So these are generally related to Jupiter. Jupiter is actually in the olden days in our mythology stories. If you read mythology stories, Jupiter generally guides Devaganas, so he is a teacher. And Jupiter also, Devaguru also gives Aushadha. If anybody falls sick, if anybody has ill health, only Guru only used to give medicine. That's why Guru may be a doctor, or Guru may be a guide or a teacher. And even in our generally kingdom, if you take a kingdom in the olden days, not now. So in the olden days, actually, Guru was generally given the place of minister, mantri. So here Jupiter is treated as minister and mantri, we can say. And at the same time, you see in the olden days, only Guru gives Aushadha to the family of the king and the king. When there were times when pandemic situation was prevalent, Guru used to give Aushadha to the whole the kingdom, in the people in the kingdom. So that's why Guru was actually in those days doctor also. Guru was a minister also. Guru was a judge also. Suppose the king was in a dilemma to take decisions, then Guru used to help the king. So that's why Guru was a judge also in the olden days. That's why Guru generally, Jupiter denotes this medical field and law field, the field of law, and at the same time teaching field, and at the same time politics. So nowadays, whoever wants to become a minister, whoever wants to become a judge or lawyer, whoever wants to become a doctor, so the native here Jupiter should be considered. We have to consider Jupiter. If Jupiter is conjoined with Saturn, for example, so then the native may become a teacher, or the native may become here judge, or anybody. The native may become minister. So like this, law field, teaching field, and political field. So all these fields only in those days Jupiter used to. But now in our mundane, in our present scenario, all the fields are divided here. We have separate medical field, we have separate political wing, we have separate. So when it comes to astrology, all fields are here divided. But in the olden days, only Jupiter rules all these. Only Jupiter Jupiter was the causative planet for all these fields. But now, even though the fields are divided, so if anybody wants to become a lawyer or judge, if anybody wants to become a doctor, if anybody wants to become a minister, if anybody wants to become a teacher, definitely we have to check first Jupiter. That is the prerequisite condition. So we have to check Jupiter, and from there, here you see, generally Jupiter health issues. Generally Jupiter denotes nose related. Jupiter is nose, and Jupiter denotes fat, belly, and thigh, leg, feet, flush. So these are ruled by generally Jupiter. So if Jupiter, for example, Jupiter denotes nose, fat, belly, thigh, leg, feet, flush. Suppose Jupiter is with enemies, for example, Moon and Rahu, the native will become a fat. He will have fat belly, fat round shaped belly, heart shaped belly. Like that we can say Jupiter is here itself stomach, and Jupiter is the native, and Jupiter is itself stomach, belly, and Moon is water in the belly or stomach, and Rahu is round in shape. That's why the native will have round shaped belly. The native will have a round shaped belly. In a similar way, when it comes to Vasthu, so Jupiter denotes puja room. Suppose you are in the puja room, you are doing puja, all of a sudden somebody calls you. So Jupiter always blesses and removes all doshas. So that's why whenever somebody calls you when you are at puja, definitely you can answer positively. Suppose somebody says, my father is in hospital, will he come back with life? So then you can say, yes, he will, there will be no danger to his life, he will come back home, no problem. So here puja room is what? Jupiter. Jupiter denotes always pious things, and Jupiter is always fortune. Jupiter denotes fortune. It is a planet of fortune. So Jupiter blesses anybody. So that's why Jupiter is good. So puja room, any puja idols and Vedas and temples, endowment department, honey, ghee, divine and cow, photographs of deities, images of deities, articles used for performing puja, bell, agarbatti stand, dhoop stand, candle stand, jasmine and people tree and amber, coconut tree, betel, leaves and sweet fruit, trees, flower plants, Lord Dattatreya and Dakshinamurti and treasury, bank near people trees, temples, churches, monasteries and hermitages, courts, yoga asana centers, meditation halls. These are all related to Jupiter. These are all related to Jupiter. Suppose we are in meditation hall, at that time we got a call. So somebody is asking, will I get profits in my business? You can answer yes, because that is Jupiter. You are in meditation hall. You have just completed your meditation. You are coming out. You are just coming outside of the meditation hall. then you can answer yes. Yes, it is possible. So like this we have to answer questions. And Jupiter do not have enemies, and sometimes Rahu is enemy in terms of death. Rahu is enemy to Jupiter in terms of death. You see, we have discussed many times death concept. Body is Deha. Deha is body. Body means Deha, and this body is ruled by Mars. And Sun is Atma, and Atma is ruled by Sun. And GV is here Jupiter. Then now we are talking about Jupiter, and we are discussing the significations of Jupiter here. So Jupiter is actually GV. When does the GV die? Generally, when Atma leaves the body. So who causes here the separation between the Atma and body? That is, the causative planet is here Rahu. So Rahu separates Atma and body, so the GV will die. That's why Rahu definitely, in terms of death, Rahu is enemy to Sun and Mars and Jupiter. Both these three planets, for these three planets, so here Rahu is enemy. And next, Rahu is enemy, but at the same time, only in terms of death, only Rahu is enemy. But Rahu will also do good. Suppose Jupiter and Rahu are together, this is called in traditional astrology Guru plus Chandala, Guru Chandala Yoga. But here Rahu always multiplies. Rahu always magnifies, multiplies here the qualities of the planet with which it is conjoined. So here Rahu is with Jupiter. What is the Jupiter qualities? Jupiter is here highest position, respect. So the native's respect will be here enhanced. So the native will get big popularity, big respect, big position because of the combination of Rahu. Jupiter and Rahu, if they are connected, so the native will get highest position. So that's why only in terms of death only Rahu is enemy to Jupiter. In the similar way, Moon generally, Moon is Vebhichar. Moon is actually denotes bad habits. So Bura Adite. So bad habits. So if Jupiter is conjoined with Moon, only because of, in terms of bad habits only, in terms of Vebhichar, so prostitution only, Jupiter is enemy to Moon. But Moon is not enemy to Jupiter in any other sense. So Moon is here, for example, traveling. So Jupiter will have traveling. That's fine. And Jupiter is food. Without eating food, nobody can live. So that's why that is good. He will have food definitely in his life. He will not be, definitely he will have food, no doubt. Because of Moon. Jupiter and Moon are together, definitely at the time of eating time, whenever breakfast and when it is the time for breakfast, he will get breakfast. When it is time for lunch, he will have lunch. He will get lunch. And when it is time for example, dinner, he will get dinner. So Moon is conjoined with Jupiter. The native will have food, no doubt. So, but in terms of bad habits only, Moon is enemy to Jupiter. That is, we have to keep in mind. And here, Mercury is enemy to Jupiter. How? Because Jupiter is Guru and Mercury is a student. How student and Guru are enemy to each other? So that is not possible. But they are enemies. Why? Because you see, Mercury is intelligent student among the students of Jupiter here. So in the Guru Parampara, in the Guru's school, so he was generally, Mercury was the most intelligent student in the class. So that's why Mercury is posing questions, intelligent questions. He is posing intelligent questions. So even Guru certain times may not answer such questions. So every Guru will have to refer to certain what is it called? Nowadays we are calling encyclopedia or dictionary or whatever it may be, or related books, reference books. But in the olden days, only Vedas. So even to answer the questions of Mercury, Jupiter has to read certain Vedas and he has to refer to some Vedas. So that's why class, there was always some disturbance in the classroom because of this Mercury. That's why Jupiter tried to chide away Mercury in the classroom. You sit down. Why are you asking foolish questions? You shut up. So like this, he always chided his intelligent student Mercury. At that time, Mercury developed some aversion, some dislikement, some antipathy against towards his guru. That's why, in terms of this, you see, negligence, whatever it may be, Mercury here, the student thinks that the teacher is looking down him and the teacher is harassing him. That's why student rebels against the teacher. So that's why Jupiter and Mercury, they are enemy to each other, but Jupiter is not enemy to anybody. Jupiter, though he chides away his student Mercury, but Jupiter always would appreciate the talent of his student, but not among the students, other students, but at his heart. But Mercury does not know whether his guru appreciates him or not. So Mercury thinks only that his guru is harassing me in the classroom without giving proper answers. So that's why Mercury becomes enemy to Jupiter. But when it comes to education, only in terms of education, Mercury is friend to Jupiter. Jupiter is friend to Mercury. In other contexts, wherever it may be, Mercury is always enemy to Jupiter. So that's why we can say Jupiter is enemy to Rahu, Jupiter is enemy to Moon, Jupiter is enemy to Mercury. Here, Jupiter has 3 planets here, enemy planets. Remaining are all friends, and only the Rahu, Moon, and Mercury, they are enemies here. Only in terms of the Karakattvas, in terms of the significations of these planets, Rahu, Moon, and Mercury. Rahu is in terms of death, Moon is in terms of bad habits and prostitution, and Mercury in terms of here, what is it called, the antipathy developed by here Mercury. Okay, these are the reasons why they are enemy to each other. In the similar way, when it comes to Venus, Venus is Jivakaraka for women. Venus is Jivakaraka for women, and Jupiter is Jivakaraka for men, and Venus is Jivakaraka for women. So generally, who is Venus here? Venus is actually gives us luxuries, money, wealth, finance. Yeah, Nitin, mute yourself. Mute yourself. Okay. So Venus is actually causative planet for women. So Venus is causative planet for luxuries and pleasure, money, wealth, finance, banking, marriage, assets, vehicle, house, and yellow powder, turmeric powder, and that is Lakshmi. Turmeric powder is considered to be Lakshmi. And wife, beautiful shape, sweet voice. So Venus generally, you see, when it comes to Venus, Venus is Sukracharya, the guru of demons, the guru of Asura Guru. We can say Asura Guru. Generally, these are Asura Lakshanas, what money and house, vehicle. So generally, you see, for a spiritual person, he does not require anything. For a sannyasi, he does not require anything. Sannyasi is always generally sannyasi. Sannyasi is here Ketu, for example. Ketu detaches the native from house, vehicle, family, wife, children, and money, properties. So that's why he will become a sannyas. But Venus gives everything. Venus gives you wife, Venus gives you daughter, Venus gives you house, Venus gives you vehicle, Venus gives you here luxuries and comforts and pleasures. So everything is given. Whatever we require in this modern world, this worldly pleasures, we can call worldly pleasures. All worldly pleasures are given by Venus only. So we may think that actually he is Guru. Uh, is influenced by these Ashta Asuras. Generally, so Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Machara, Mana. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Macha. So like this Mana, Abhimana. These eight Asuras. So because of these Asuras, we get all these things. That's why we are in the world where this is the physical world and where we need all these things to survive in the society, to live in the to live happy life in the society. So that's why whether Venus is Devaguru or Rakshas Guru, whatever it may be, but Venus gives wife, Venus gives here house, vehicle, luxuries, and everything. So for male, Venus is wife, and for female, Venus is the female force, your life force for here Jivakaraka for women. So generally, money, wealth, finance, all these are coming under the signification of Venus. And when it comes to our relatives, Venus is here wife. So when it comes to when there are more than one wife, so Venus is first wife also. So second wife is actually Mercury, and third wife Moon. Like that, other female planets will become fourth, fifth, sixth. Like that, we can continue.
Sir, voice not coming.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Yeah, some technical problem. So here, Venus is actually wife, Venus is younger sister, and daughter-in-law, Bahu, daughter-in-law. And when it comes to profession, Venus denotes certain professions related money and all these things, finance, banking, money lending business, and wine shop, cattle feed, cloth merchant, fashion designing, love, poetry, flower, sex, artist related, treasurer, jewelers, musician, singer, performer, dancer, dramatist. So here Venus is music. That's why singer, dancer, and music, and prostitute, and call girl, and perfume seller, beauty parlor, saloon, cloth merchant. But here Venus should be connected to with some other planets also. Suppose if you take a cloth merchant, cloth is actually Venus, and at the same time the cloth has, you see, threads. So the thread is, with threads cloth is made. The thread is ruled by Ketu. That's why cloth merchant. And like that, beauty parlor. So here cutting, you see, good shape of the hair, and like that hair is Ketu. And this beauty parlor, generally salon, and these are ruled by, generally that is beauty. Mercury, here Venus is beauty. So that's why Venus plus Ketu should be together. And if it is salon, for example, they cut the hair and we need scissor also. Scissor is ruled by Mars. And so luxury goods and scented materials. So whenever we are talking about scented materials and alcohol, that is costly liquid actually. So liquid is actually moon, and at the same time moon plus Venus. Venus plus moon. Venus is costly and moon is liquid. And Venus itself, generally Venus moon combination, alcohol and scents. So these costly liquid, whatever it may be. In the similar way, handicrafts and five-star hotels, gold ornaments ruled by Venus. Musician, dancer, drama, story writing, poetry, acting, furniture shop, and musical instruments, tourism department, bar and restaurants, vehicle factory and wine shop, painting, sculpture, makeup job, beauty context, fruit selling, fruit juice parlor, and money lending business, financial organizations, bank commission agent, LIC department, finance minister, and accountant auditor, selling gift articles, showcase items, flower merchants, marriage hall, cinema theater, prostitution. These are all ruled by actually Venus. And suppose when it comes to prostitution, Venus and moon should be together. So moon is here prostitution. So moon is here prostitution, and Venus is the lady. So she is a call girl. She will do prostitution. So that's why Venus and moon is here prostitute or prostitution. So in the similar way, when it comes to health issues, Venus is a semen. So sperm related. So many people generally have sperm problem. So when it comes to sperm problem, Venus is sperm and sun is heat. By the heat of sun, the sperm will evaporate. That's why the native will get sperm problem. Venus and sun are together. In the similar way, Venus and moon are together. For example, Venus is sperm, moon is water. When there is more water content in the sperm, so the sperm count will be less. So that's why again sperm count, low sperm problem. So that's why low sperm count problem will come only when sun and Venus are together, or moon and Venus are together. So that is the problem. And when it comes to ovary and cheek, right side of the chin, and here we can add one thing, kidney and diabetic. So generally, so please mute yourself when you want to speak to others. So here, so health is here kidney related and diabetic. These are ruled by Venus. These are ruled by Venus. So if Venus is conjoined with its enemies like moon, Ketu, and sun, definitely the native will get uterus related for female ovary, and for male or female kidney and diabetic related problems, these generally the native will get. So now Vasthu related. If you learn Vasthu, these will be useful. Otherwise, we can use them in prediction. Suppose when somebody calls you, you are in the bedroom or kitchen. So bedroom is here. For example, bedroom is bed is Venus here. On the bed, when you are sitting on the bed, if you get any call, that is Venus. And first floor and dressing table, music system, scent, all luxury and beauty articles, white lotus, sweet, intoxicants, dance, acting, fancy stores, dancing ball or hall, cinema theater, and entertainment places, clubs, function halls, convention halls. Suppose you are in a function hall, you are attending some marriage or something, or any function, you are in a function hall, you are in a cinema theater, somebody calls you. So you can answer immediately. If they ask, for example, sir, will I get married? So yes, you will get married because Venus is your wife and Venus is cinema theater. Here Venus and Venus is function hall, Venus is convention hall. Suppose you are in a convention hall and fig tree, mango tree, lemon tree, all sour, fruit, sour tasting, sour fruit bearing trees. So these are all related to like orange, grapes, gooseberry, tamarind, pineapple, and even hospital also. Venus and cot, bed, mat, cloth, dressing table, desk, sofa, and flower vase, and chandelier, and palanquin, pillow, bed sheet, cosmetics, mirror, showcase, jewelry box, money box, almara, and goddess Lakshmi, bedrooms, dancing hall, recreation clubs, hotels, and cinema theater, and a brothel house, marriage hall. So these are all related to actually Vastu. Well, these related Venus. And why Venus is enemy to Sun and Moon? Already we have discussed. Sun is heat and Moon is liquid. So when Moon is water also. So when the sperm has more water content, Moon. So Venus and Moon. When sperm evaporates by the heat of Sun, so then there will be low sperm count. That's why they are opposite to each other by their nature. And when it comes to Ketu, Ketu is here. Ketu is a detachment. Ketu is a planet of detachment. So Ketu detaches you from your wife, from your house, from your vehicle, from your family members, from your friends, from your all mundane worldly pleasures. But Venus attaches you with all these worldly pleasures. So it will attach you. Venus will attach you with wife, without children, and Venus will attach you with house, vehicle, and these pleasures and comforts. So everything. So that's why Venus is a planet of attachment, and Ketu is a planet of detachment. So like this, Ketu and Venus are enemy to each other. So if Venus is with Ketu, that's why many people in the horoscope, Venus is with Ketu, Venus is money. So that's why there will be financial litigation. Venus and Ketu are together. Venus is wife. So that's why the native may have disputes and disturbances with wife. He may be separated from his wife. So Venus and Ketu. And Venus and Ketu, Venus is properties, house, vehicle properties. So the native's properties will be under litigation and they will be under trial and tribulation. So that's why Venus and Ketu are together. Definitely the native will have problems regarding wife, regarding marriage. It may be delay of marriage or disturbance after marriage, or it may be financial litigation or property litigation. And Venus is with Moon, Sun, so sperm related problem. And Venus is money and Moon is here loss. So you earn money and you incur losses. So money comes and goes. Venus and Moon are together, so money comes and goes. And Venus and Sun, here there are, I told you, no planet is enemy to other planets, any planet, or no planet is friendly to any planet here. So in Brigu and Nadi, we consider only the Karakattvas actually. Suppose Venus is wife and Sun is here, name and fame. So wife will be a popular woman. The native may have low sperm count, even the wife, but when it comes to wife, wife is a popular woman. She comes from very good family, popular family. She comes from a political family because Sun is here. So wife, what kind of wife the native will get? Venus tells. Venus is with Sun, definitely. Wife comes from a big family, royal family, because Sun is royal. Royal family, popular family, and name and fame family, very good family she will come. Wife will come from good family. And moreover, you see, if Venus and Sun are together, wife is fire. She will not have any other avocations, no other no illicit relations or nothing, because she is fire. Nobody can touch her. She will have fire in her. So that's why Venus and Sun, wife will be very good, but the native may have some low sperm count problem, and here Sun is eye, so the native will have eye related problem, and wife may have eye related problem because Venus is wife, and Venus is wife, and Sun is here government, so wife may be a government job holder. So like that, you see, only combination of planets. By the combination of planets, we can predict. For example, let's go back. Suppose let's take Venus. Suppose Jupiter and Venus, whatever planets we have discussed, let us discuss parallelly. So, parallel discussion let's have. For example, Jupiter is with Sun, the native will be a popular person. Venus is with Sun, the wife will be popular woman. Or if it is a female, the female will be popular woman. If it is a female in the horoscope, we are reading a female horoscope. In the similar way, for example, Jupiter is with Moon, the native may have fickle mindedness. And suppose Venus is having Moon, so then the women may have fickle mindedness. And in the similar way, Jupiter is with Mars, the native is egoistic. And Moon is, for example, Venus is with Mars, so the wife will be egoistic, and or the female native will be egoistic. And Jupiter is with Mercury, for example, Mercury is knowledge, so the native will be knowledgeable and talented and highly educated, because Mercury is educated. And Venus and Mercury are together, so wife will be educated. Only here we are just combining the karakatwas of two planets here. Venus is wife and Mercury is education. Venus is wife, Mercury is business. So wife may be a businesswoman. Suppose Venus is with Sun, wife may be a politician or government job holder. So like that, only based on the karakatwas. And Venus is with Moon, so mind will be not stable and no stability, fickle mindedness. And in a similar way, Mars is there and Mercury is there. Suppose Venus is with, for example, Jupiter, the wife will be a respectable woman in the society. She may be in good position. So in the similar way, Jupiter is having Venus, and then the native will be rich, because Venus is rich, riches. Venus is here, riches. The native will be rich, the native will have house, the native will have vehicle, and the native enjoys luxuries, because Venus gives luxuries. The native will have daughter, the native will have wife, the native will have children. Definitely Jupiter and Venus are aspecting each other, the native will have children. So Jupiter is with Venus, the native will have here female child. And Jupiter is having Venus, the native will become here a banker. He may become a banker, financer. So he is a luxurious. Like that we have to check. And let's discuss one more Saturn also today. And so Saturn is here karma karaka, work. So Saturn is work governing planet. What do you mean by karma? Suppose I am talking and you are listening. So listening is karma, talking is karma, discussing astrology is karma. What we are doing? You are learning, I am teaching. This is karma. It may be profession or whatever it may be. Suppose I am just moving my, I am looking at you, here my eyes are working. You are listening to me, your ears are working. Okay. So suppose at your place it may be cold, you feel some coldness. And here it may be very hot or humid, so I feel humidity here. So here, whatever we feel, whatever we listen, whatever we look, so whatever we see, so these are our perception. So this perception is related to karma. So through our senses, we have life force in us. So suppose if we stop listening, if we stop looking, if we stop moving, so what does it mean? It means you are dead. The native is dead. He is not moving, he is not looking, he is not listening, he is not feeling. There is no feeling, no listening, and no looking. So then it means the native is dead. So karma is closed. So that is karma. Saturn means karma. Karma means doing something. Action. Karma means action. The action of listening, the action of teaching, the action of doing something. So that's why profession is also only one of the part of our karma. Suppose we get marriage, getting marriage is karma, and we beget children, begetting children is karma, and we feed them, wife and children, that is our karma. So feeding our relatives, our family members is also karma. That is what we are doing. That is karma. So who rules this karma? Saturn is causative planet for karma. So Saturn is here. Karma is ruled by Saturn. When it comes to our family members, Saturn is our elder brother, Bade Bhai. And when it comes to female horoscope, Saturn is the second husband. And work, so Saturn is work governing planet, and profession, and industry, and black color, slowness, delay, indolence, and servant. And here Saturn is here watchman, cleaners, peon, sweeper. So low paid salary people, whoever it may be, bricklayer and miner, cobbler, so sweeper. So these are a peon. So generally Saturn is here low paid servant, we can say. And when it comes to our health problem, generally Saturn is our chin and feet, buttocks, anus, knees, foreleg, feet, digestive bladder, windy, gastric, and rheumatic pains. Gastric and rheumatic, Vata related. Gastric and rheumatic health disorders. So this is due to Saturn. So Saturn gives these health problems: windy related, gastric related, and rheumatic health disorders. So suppose Saturn is with the enemies, or even friend also. For example, Rahu is friend, he is not enemy. But Saturn and Rahu gives the same health problem, gastric. So here Saturn is Vata, so rheumatic, and gastric planet is actually Rahu. Rahu is gastric. So Rahu and Saturn are together in the horoscope. Definitely the native will get rheumatic and gastric related problem, health disorders. No doubt. He will get health disorders. And when it comes to Vasthu, so entry steps. Suppose you are entering a house. So first we have to step up here entry steps to go into the house. So if the entry steps are here Saturn. If the entry steps has any cracks or the plastering has been peeled out, and suppose the entry steps are painted with red in color. So red is actually ruled by Mars. Mars is the enemy to Saturn. So when you are entering a house, when you happen to see this type of situation, then you can predict that the native of that house is suffering some harassment in his office. There is some problem. He might be terminated, or he will have to resign. So such a situation. Because here we are talking about Saturn. Saturn is entry steps. In the similar way, storeroom is also in our house ruled by Saturn. And dump yard, dustbin, and a grinding stone. Suppose, for example, you are always keeping dustbin in the kitchen, for example. So kitchen is generally ruled by here Mars, and the kitchen is also ruled by Venus. Venus is actually marriage, and so that's why Saturn is a delay. So that's why what will happen? The marriage will be delayed. Suppose there are grown-up children and they have to get married. So why marriage being delayed? Generally, in that house, if they keep dustbin in the they keep dustbin in the kitchen, so then we can say kitchen is ruled by here Venus, and dustbin is here Saturn. Saturn is here delay. At the same time, suppose you are in the kitchen in your client house, for example, they are asking what kind of women will come, what kind of lady will come for my son, for example, they are asking. Then you can predict the daughter-in-law who is coming to your house, or who is going to come to your house, will be working women, because Saturn is work here. Suppose even in your horoscope, Venus and Saturn are together. Venus is wife and Saturn is here work governing planet. So wife will be working woman. In the similar way, when you happen to see dustbin in the kitchen, at the same time somebody is asking in that house, will my son, what kind of a bride will come to our house for my son? So then we can say the bride will be a working woman. So like that we can answer. So woolen cloth, iron, lead, and whirling wind, stone, oil, mines, box, container, carry bags, doormat, dustbin, and dining table, blue colored flowers, office, factory, and Sumatri gemmi, sesame crop, here bamboo, and palm trees, bitter fruit trees, oil plants, sunflower, mustard box, container, vault, doormat, medical shops and hospitals, Munishwara temples, huts, shops, garbage, reefs, dustbins, dilapidated structures, remote places. These are all ruled by actually Saturn. And Saturn is enemy to whom? So Mars, Ketu, Sun and Moon. Suppose Saturn is with Mars and Ketu, definitely the native will have professional harassment disturbance. And first we have to check whether Saturn is strong or weak. That is, first we have to check when we are going to predict profession. Saturn is strong or weak, how can we predict, how can we know? Suppose Saturn has enemies Mars, Ketu, Sun, Moon in the second house or 12th house or 7th house, Saturn is supposed to be weak. For example, you know, if Saturn is exalted in, where is exalted? Generally Saturn is exalted in Libra. The people think that Saturn is strong there when it is exalted. No. Suppose Saturn has Ketu in the second house, Mars in the 12th house, Moon in the 7th house. 7th house means here Moon is in Aries and Saturn is in Libra, and Scorpio, actually Ketu is there, and 12th house, that is Gemini, Virgo. In the Virgo, actually Mars is there. So Saturn is here conjoined with Mars, Ketu and Moon in 12th house, 2nd house and 7th house. So if any planet, not only Saturn, if any planet is having enemies in 12th house, 2nd house and 7th house, that is weak. In the similar way, suppose Saturn is friendly planets, the remaining are friendly. Suppose Saturn has Venus in the second house, for example, Saturn is in Libra itself, or let us say Suppose Saturn is in Aries. Aries is debilitated. Don't think that Saturn is debilitated when Saturn has friendly planets in the 12th house, 7th house, and 2nd house. Suppose Venus is in the 12th house. 12th house means Pisces. And in Aries, Saturn is there. And 12th house in the Pisces, what is the planet we are talking? Venus. And the 2nd house is actually Taurus, that is occupied by Mercury, for example. So now in the 12th house Venus and in the 2nd house Mercury, Saturn has, though Saturn is debilitated. So Saturn has in the 7th house, so there is, for example, Jupiter. So now Saturn, Jupiter, and Saturn is conjoined with Venus, and in the 2nd house Saturn is conjoined with Mercury. In the 7th house Saturn is aspected by Jupiter. So though Saturn is debilitated, it is very strong in that horoscope because Saturn is here associated with Venus in the 12th house and Mercury in the 2nd house, and 7th house there is Jupiter. So don't think that there is a debilitation and exaltation for any planet in BNN. In BNN, all planets are equal, whether they are debilitated or exalted. So we have to check in the 2nd house, 12th house, 7th house, whether there are any friendly planets or not. We have to check. If there are friendly planets, the planet is strong. And suppose if there are enemy planets in the 2nd house, 12th house, 7th house, the planet is weak. So Saturn is here karma karaka. So one secret I want to tell you now, whether the native has a short span of life or long span of life, how can we predict based on Saturn? If Saturn is weak, that means if Saturn has enemies in the 2nd house, 12th house, and 7th house, Saturn is weak, that means the native will have only short span of life. So short span of life means before 60 years. It may be the same year, in the same 10 years, below 10 years, or below 24 years, below 36 years, below 48 years, or below 60 years. Whatever it may be, that depends on Jupiter rounds. We will predict when he would die, and exactly when he would die also we can predict based on Jupiter rounds. So if one planet is strong or not, we have to check. In the similar way, Jupiter is a GV. Is he strong or not? We have to check. Suppose Jupiter has enemies, and 2nd house, for example, there is Mercury, and 12 in the 12th house there is in the 2nd house, for example, Rahu is there, and in the opposite house, 7th house, for example, there is Mercury is there, and in the 12th house there is Moon there. So then Jupiter is weak. So if Jupiter has Rahu in the 2nd house, Moon in the 12th house, and in the 7th house Mercury is there, Jupiter is weak. Jupiter Drushti is nothing. Jupiter aspect will be nothing. Suppose Jupiter is aspecting some planet. No, there will be no power. Even though Jupiter is, for example, in Ucharasi, Karkataka, if Jupiter has Rahu in the 2nd house, that is Leo, and 12th house Moon, and opposite 7th house, for example, Mercury is there, though Jupiter is exalted, Jupiter is weak. And suppose Jupiter is having friends, suppose Venus is in the 7th house, and Saturn is in the 2nd house, and in the 12th house there is Mars. So then definitely the native will have here friends. So the native has friends here. But here one thing, actually Saturn and Mars are enemies. So in between two enemies, Jupiter is there, then there will be problem. So in the 2nd house, instead of Saturn, for example, in the 2nd house Saturn is there, and in the 12th house suppose Mercury is there. So let us take Moon away, Mars away. So suppose Jupiter is exalted in, so let us say Jupiter is debilitated. let us take Jupiter is in Capricorn. Though Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn, if it has Saturn in the second house and the 12th house there is Mercury, and in the 7th house in Karkataka there is Venus, so then the Jupiter is very strong, though it is debilitated. So debilitation will be cancelled and exaltation will be cancelled, debilitation will be cancelled. We have to check only planet is strong or not based on the conjunction of planets in the second house, 12th house, 7th house. If there are friendly planets, the planet is strong. And if the planet has enemies in second house, 12th house and 7th house, the planet is weak. So like this we have to check. So we will discuss Rahu Ketu tomorrow. And any questions? Manu
Yes,
sir?
sir.
Yeah, this is we have to check even for short span of life and long span of life. This Jupiter and Saturn like this, whether they are strong or not, we have to check. Even anything, suppose we are talking about Venus marriage. Venus is with enemies, for example, marriage may be delayed or marriage may be broken. So suppose Venus is with Ketu in the second house, and Venus enemies here. Sun is in the 12th house, and in the 7th, in the opposite house, for example, Moon is there. So like that, definitely. So there will be marriage will be broken. Suppose Venus is Mercury in the second house and Jupiter is in the 12th house, and opposite house, for example, Saturn is there. She will have beautiful life, beautiful life. The native will have beautiful life. Here we are talking about wife. So the native will have beautiful life. So like this. Okay, anything?
Sir, मुझे question पूछना है. Sir, I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, some Karkatva are same in
Yeah.
Venus and Jupiter. So
Yes.
how can we treat them
What
like
are
banking?
the Karkatmas you are telling?
Banking.
So no, we have to take Saturn as Bhakshan Karaka. From Saturn we have to take which planets are connected. So you see, suppose when we are talking about highest position, then we have to take Jupiter. Jupiter is like manager, and Rahu is there, for example, Qn attender, and a computer operator, for example, Mercury and Rahu together. So we will discuss like that in our profession. So I am giving only Karakatwas here to make you understand. I have given some examples, and we have to discuss separately profession. Okay.
ठीक है सर. और सर ये BNN से हम क्या पराशरी से ज्यादा एक्यूरेसी के साथ हम कर सकते हैं
Parashara
prediction?
is
मतलब
different.
what?
Parashara is different and BNN is different. Not at all. The Karkatwas will not be similar. Okay.
Means
So,
is
suppose
BNN
you are,
has more accuracy than Parashara?
no, not like that. You see, generally, the people suppose the expertise. Suppose if you are expertise in Parashara, you will be able to. If you understand the Karkatwas well, then you will be able to predict well. So I understood the Karkatwas very well in BNN. That's why I can predict more precise. That is the difference one. There are many people only through what is it called traditional astrology, Vedic astrology, they can predict very well, wonderfully. Because that is only their hard work and the research. That is important. But it is very easy when it comes to BNN. It is very easy to predict, to understand the concepts. That's why people are more interested in BNN. That is the only difference. Okay. Okay. Good night.
Okay, sir.